Joining us now, Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, BLM was always a Marxist extortion racket. So do you expect Romney or these woke corporations to kind of walk back their moments of on bended knee for them?
They should, but I don't expect it. And the reason why I don't expect it is because too many of these corporations and, frankly, too many moderate, weak-kneed Republicans cower in the face of these radical Marxists. And the evidence is clear. Our companies in the United States should be standing against the Cuban regime because they should stand up for liberty and freedom, the same liberty and freedom that has allowed them to make billions of dollars in our country without anybody batting an eye or, frankly, caring, and actually with our country promoting the fact that they're so successful. People like Senator Romney should be calling out BLM for not standing with the Cuban people, as opposed to what they have done, calling out our country for holding that murderous, totalitarian, communist regime accountable, and they should be held accountable.
Now, one of the most, I believe she's one of the most wanted women in the United States, has been sheltered by the Cuban government for years now. It's Assata Shakur. She's a one-time leader in that Black Liberation Army. Here's what Black Lives Matter had to say about her today. Cuba has historically demonstrated solidarity with oppressed peoples of African descent, from protecting Black revolutionaries like Assata Shakur through granting her asylum to supporting Black liberation struggles. Congressman, this is a convicted cop killer who fled the country, and Black Lives Matter, that all these CEOs and Mitt Romney marched with, celebrated. Well, this is so revealing right now for all of us, for the country, for everybody watching who believes that, you know, Black people need proper representation and equal rights, of course. But to watch this unfold, I think it's actually great. It's revealing.
It is actually disgraceful. And the American people need to understand one thing. A lot of these radical political front groups that exist in the United States that constantly push a divisive agenda and narrative in our country, they are Marxist organizations. The leaders come from Marxist ideology, and that ideology walks hand in hand with the authoritarian Cuban regime in that country that has basically taken away the freedom and liberty from the Cuban people for 62 years. And so for those organizations that continue to push that agenda, at least be 100% with the American people and let them know where your true political allegiance and loyalty lies. It does not lie with freedom in the United States. It lies with totalitarianism around the world.
Well, as long as those nations are anti-American, the left is going to celebrate them, right? They don't care about free expression or any of those ideas. They're anti-American, and they're against the American traditional order. And so that's why the left is aligning. It was just like Jane Fonda did with the North Vietnamese, or celebrating the Soviet Union in the 70s and even into the 80s, and the love affair with Castro. It's all of a piece among those on the left, is it not?
Totally true. And I just want these people on that side of the political aisle to understand that if they actually wanted to be one of these groups in a country like Cuba or Iran or China, they wouldn't have the freedoms to speak against the country that they actually live in. They would be arrested. They would be detained. They would be brutalized. They would be incarcerated. They would not be allowed to speak so freely like they are allowed to here in the United States. And so let's be very clear. They should be free to speak whatever they say, whatever they want to say. But if you're going to try to put America on the same plane as the totalitarian communist Cuban government, then that means you have no idea of the true moral fight that is going on in Cuba, and not just in Cuba, quite frankly, but around the world.
Oh, that's all right, Congressman, because the UN is going to come in and lecture us on racism at the State Department. So the UN is going to set us straight. So we're going to be fine after the Blinken-approved investigation, which is another scandal. Congressman, thank you.